everybody. It's Dr. Sherlonda Adkins, your physician assistant, speaker, and success coach, bringing you greetings from beautiful and sunny and warm and humid Charleston, South Carolina, here for some midweek motivation to help you get unstuck and create a life you don't have to escape. How's everybody doing today? How's the week been so far? Good? Interesting? So-so? Too early to determine? So before I talk about what I want to mention today, I'm going to also ask if there's anything in particular, areas in your life where you feel like you have been stuck. That could be career, relationships, finances, parenting, whatever. Let me know, send me a message. And so that'll help me kind of curate some talks or some different things to try to hit on areas where you may be feeling stuck. All right, so I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that just in case I forget. So thinking about the word unstuck, UNSTUCK, I want to start with the letter U and use this as a way to help you remember ways you can get unstuck. So I actually left the house without my prop today. So I had an umbrella. So I want you to imagine that I am holding an umbrella over me right now as I'm sitting. I can even sing for you if you like, to give you that vision. You can stand under my umbrella. Eh, 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 eh. You can come stand under my umbrella. I'm sure that's not how the song goes, but it's okay. You get it. So I'm holding this umbrella. So the first U standing for umbrella. When I am talking to my patients, sometimes when they have their initial visit, they may come in and say that I have been experiencing anxiety, or I've been told that I have anxiety. And so in order to get a better idea of what that anxiety is, I often explain it and say, well, anxiety, think of it as an umbrella term. Anxiety. And underneath that umbrella of anxieties, there's different types of anxiety disorders. It could be generalized anxiety disorder. It could be post-traumatic stress disorder. It could be panic disorder. It could be OCD. So there's different types of anxiety. And just like that umbrella, when you think about it, when you're walking down the street and let's say it's raining, or maybe you're jogging down the street trying to get out of the rain and you're holding that umbrella, what are you protecting? When you're holding that umbrella over yourself, what are you protecting? You're protecting yourself, right? There's a lot that falls underneath the umbrella of being you. So in the journey of getting unstuck, you have to first start with really looking at yourself and who you are, because the vision that you have for yourself in the future is going to be very hard for you to imagine if you don't even know who you are. Most of the times in society, if someone asks you, who are you, or tell me about yourself, what do you normally say first? Is it normally your role? Is it normally, well, I am a human resource assistant at such and such, or I am a pet groomer at such and such? Or is it the titles that you hold in your home? You can say, well, I'm a mom of 2, or I'm a wife of 16 years. But a lot of times when we're defining ourselves, who we are, we talk about the roles, how we show up on the outside. How we show up on the outside, that's really just external. When really looking at who you are as a person on the inside, what makes you tick? Like, what makes your heart sing? What are the things that really irk you? Because, okay, there are some things that irk us, right? Where do you see yourself when you visualize like the next year or the next 5 years or the next 15 years? Where do you see yourself? Not in your role, because remember, these external roles, they shift and change. How many companies have gone out of business in the last couple of years, or how many companies have shifted as a result just of the pandemic? So basing who you are on the roles that you play, whether in your career or even in your family, can be a very dangerous place to be and be very fickle, because even as a mother, my role in the lives of my children is not the same today as it was 15 or 20 years ago when I was first starting out taking care of little babies, and now having grown-ups and semi-quasi grown-ups. So one of the first exercises that I do with my coaching clients is to have them take a personality test, first of all, because that can help put words to things that maybe you already knew about yourself. The purpose of a personality test isn't to tell you who you are or what you should be doing, but it's really just to sometimes give you some idea of some categories or things that you may have already known about yourself, which I go off on a tangent here and say, and there's no such thing as one personality test that's going to nail it to a T, because personality tests are made from humans and all of us are so uniquely defined that there's no one test that can tell exactly who you are as an individual, but it could serve as a guide. So taking a personality test, and then also I will ask people to check in, people who know you, whether it's your neighbors, co-workers, family members, people who know you. What do they generally say about you? What do they generally say comes easy for you? Because that can be a clue as well as to who you are as a person. So I want to give you this challenge. If I were to ask you to introduce yourself to someone who doesn't know you, would you be able to do it without stating external roles? And that is a challenge because we're so accustomed to doing that. Again, in the society that we live in, oftentimes we want to talk about who we are, to establish common ground, or maybe even to establish credibility, or whatever the case may be. But the first you in getting unstuck is really getting to know who you are. And nobody knows who you are better than you. That's right. So think about that. Let it soak in. Again, just a little nugget for your lunch break, and really think about it. And when I talk about being you, I'm talking about your authentic self, not who people have told you to be, not who people told you that you couldn't be. So let me tell you this. I remember it was about, so my son is 18 and he was just born. So I was in this play one time. He was a baby, so it was about 18 years ago. And I was so excited to be on stage. And shout out to Tamika for giving me that star role, writing the play, directing the play. It was a lot of fun. She worked us hard though. That was a lot of work preparing for it. But anyway, I remember being really excited about it. And someone said something to me under their breath, and it was like a, it was a condescending comment. It was like, "You just like to be front and center, don't you?" And I was like, "What?" But when I heard that, I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, is that what people think about me? Like, I want to be in the spotlight?" And that was what I didn't realize that now. It's years later, I can look back to that. And I think one of the reasons why that really got me was because of something that happened when I was in 5th grade. And I'll share that later about dimming my light. And so when I heard that again, it was just kind of like I don't want people to think that I always just want to be front and center. But guess what? I do want to be front and center. I was created to be front and center, not in a boastful or a braggadocious, or whatever that word, braggadocious way or anything like that. But because what God has put into me, it would be a travesty if I just sat down and just let it be. And so I said all that to say, being your authentic self, who you were created to be, not based on what others say you should be or what you shouldn't be. You should tone it down a little bit, or you should not want to have to, be in the stage in front of people. No, be who God created you to be. And that is one of the first steps to becoming unstuck. Because trust me, it is so hard walking around in these streets trying to be somebody that you are not. And I promise you, you will feel better about yourself when you're showing up as your authentic self. And if you keep being who you're not, you're probably going to always be in a place of feeling stuck. And feeling stuck, that comes with, we talked about anxiety earlier, that can come with anxiety, lots of frustrations, lots of problems in relationships, decreased motivation, isolation, depression, all of the things that we want to get away from so that we can live a life that we don't have to escape. So I would love to hear from all of you who are listening. What would be one thing that you can do to find your authentic self, whether it's a personality test or asking other people, or really just sitting in silence? That's something that's undervalued in society, but really just sitting in silence. No noise, no TV, no phones, no people, no distractions, and just listening to what your soul is leading you to, and just listening. Sometimes people don't like sitting in silence because sitting in silence can be too revealing. Right? Sitting in silence may reveal too much about myself that I've been wanting to hide or I have not been wanting to address. Again, stuckness. All right, so happy lunchtime. Everybody have a fantastic rest of your week. And I look forward to seeing you next week, same time, same place. Share this with somebody in your life who you feel could use some encouragement. Talk to you later. Bye.